So, Shadow, you are the military's top secret weapon. But what did you mean when you said you will grant me a wish? Find them fast! I want that Chaos Emerald!
Alright, this is going to be my longest video yet, the Shadow Lancelot kit. I've done a lot of new things on this, so it's going to be a little bit different from other videos. First thing I did was 3D scan it, but the problem with scanning black reflective things is they don't really register at all on my RevoPoint 3D scanner. So I did something bad. Real bad. I thought that if I just quickly poured some primer onto it and spread it across the surface, that I could get a good scan without ruining the hard-to-find figure. Well, the good news is the scan worked. The bad news is, So after just giving up and spray painting the rest of the body, I got some good scans of both the head and the full body, and I was ready to 3D model. So I went on stream, this was after the Knuckles hat giveaway, and began work on the helmet. I used the polygonal modeling tool to draw onto the surface of the live model to get just about the right shape. Later on, I'll cut out the actual 3D scan from this, but it's a great base to start off of having the 3D scan. And I wasn't really getting the shapes that I wanted in Maya, so I just took it into ZBrush and started sculpting from there. And then when I brought it back into Maya, that's when I cut out the head, and it actually fit the first time. I wasn't going to make the visor move, but you guys convinced me, and it turns out that was a great idea. So you might recognize the shoulder pieces from my Nega Wisp. It was just a few small modifications that I needed to make, and I used those for the shoulders of the chest piece of Shadow Lancelot. I think it was really fun to have that DNA, that little Easter egg, as a reference inside of the model, so that you guys know that I still made it, but I salvaged parts from another model to create it. Here I'm extruding pieces for the chest, and it actually got way too thick, so off screen you'll see that this actually got compressed a lot down, and I even cut out more of the head so that it would fit the figure better. I took that shape into ZBrush and gave it a lot of details with the cutting tools, the digging into the shape with a rake tool to kind of give it battle damage in areas that I thought it might get hit by. And then I masked off the edges of the the shoulder pad, and extruded little tiny details that would pick up the paint really well. I did some renders for the Discord as well. And you can see it looks pretty nice in Maya. Then after cutting out the shape, it's nice and thin so it'll fit right on the body. Next I started on the shoe, which was a lot of different basic shapes with some cylinders and cubes that I extruded different ways. It's a very kind of complex shape made out of very simple objects. Then in ZBrush I used a tool that lets me make individual machine parts into the sculpt. It's really fun to add mechanical details that you don't have to sculpt by hand. Then just like the other pieces, I sculpted in some battle damage where there might be some scratches and hits from enemy blows. And then with some really exaggerated noise brush, I added some metal texture to everything. Just like my Knuckles series hat, I gave it a texture that I would hope come through in the 3D print. So to create the sword, I just started with a simple cube and then added a lot of edge loops to it to start building out the shape of the sword. Using reference, I put in an image of the sword and matched it up just 1-to-1. It was pretty easy. Here I'm building out the hilt, kind of these indented parts inside of this curved portion of it. Then I added all these little spiky things on the back. If any of you know about creating supports in 3D printing, that was really hard to make the supports work with both the sharp edge of the sword and all these little bits and pieces that stick out the back. Then I did a really quick and dirty sculpt of this pommel part of it. This part is very, very tiny in real life, so I didn't spend too much time on it. You can see it looks very muddy in the sculpt, but it came out just fine in 3D printing. And then for the little gem on the sword, I started with a sphere and ZBrush and just added all these little faceted bits. I don't think this hardly came out at all in the print because it's so small, but just a fun little detail to add. And you can see here just how inconsequential that detail is, but if it wasn't there, you'd miss it. I don't think I needed to make a hammered jewel faceted shape, but it's a fun little detail that's in there. Now this was quite hard. I had to figure out exactly how to create these lines. Eventually I just used the polygonal modeling tool and drew out the paths and then connected them all into a single shape before extruding it to give it some depth. This piece actually comes out really nicely in the 3D print because it picks up all of that wash to make kind of an ambient occlusion effect. So now we're going to fill it in with, let's say, this color. Oh, look how cool that looks already! What? I did not even expect it to look that cool. Oh man. Alright, so let's take some of this yellow. Look at this. Look how we can paint in the color. Huh? Ah! So that was a really fun, positive stream as I finished that sword and had this really nice piece to look at and display on the Discord afterward. I think this got a lot of people excited for it moving forward. So next I started on the finger armor. It's just kind of this half cylinder that I modeled into shape and extruded some edges. Then I placed that all around a hand that I had previously made. I believe this was made off of the trip hand. And then I actually rigged it. So normally you wouldn't care to rig something like this, but because I wanted to get an easy way to wrap it around the sword, I actually skinned the geometry of the hand, but left all of the individual armor pieces separate, not a single model with actual skinning. So what that let me do is pose everything in the right position, but then once I had the hand posed, I could actually unbind those individual pieces and do fine little tweaks to get it just right for the model. So it gave me a perfect balance of having a rig that would let me do certain poses while also being able to make fine adjustments. So I scanned the nubs of the hands and feet, and it really didn't work out. It's such small detail that it didn't pick up, so I had to kind of reconstruct these spherical end caps of the ball joints using other bits and pieces from primitives in Maya, and then I cut those out of the feet.
Where's that damn
Perfect size to fit! This is my least favorite part about making toys. I'll do a bunch of different test prints of slightly different sized holes just to see what fits best. Take the old one off. So this is a test piece. So I printed it with a bunch of different shapes that show which one fits the best, so that would inform what the final pieces would be like. You may remember from my Fang video that I've been having problems with my Elegoo Saturn. The LCD screen is going bad and it's going to be kind of costly to replace. But I've had a crate sitting in my garage for the last 6 months that I haven't used yet. It's a 3D printer that's on loan from a friend. It's an eMake Galaxy One 3D printer. It's resin and it's actually SLA with a laser. And this thing is huge. Got some tools. If we're gonna make something big, we need something that'll make something big. Check this out. There's probably better ways to do this. But But anyway, I never had space for this before, but now that I've got my new house, I do have space. So it's time to uncrate and see what this thing could do. It took a lot longer to uncrate than I expected. That's a beauty. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even know how to get it out.
One hour later.
Ooh, look at this thing. Oh my god. Here it is. Oh, the battery's almost dead.
It's like a giant microwave.
So this is kind of weird. These bolts here are what hold in the vat. Didn't come like this. I had to bend it to get it there. Here's how they came. They all came bent in almost the exact same way that it seemed intentional. But nowhere on the internet do I find information about it. It's supposed to be diagonal. As temperature, in my research I found out that 28 is way too hot for the temperature control. I recommended setting it down to AV. Set. Let's see. Oh, I gotta press that 30 times and hold it down. All right, that's way too low. Hold on. Oh my gosh. There it is, 25, the recommended temperature. It's really weird that I have to bend these guys. See how it could have gotten damaged in shipping. It's all packed pretty well. Check that out, you can see under there, the actual laser module. It actually physically moves across and then lasers back and forth. Oh yeah, it does feel pretty sturdy. This seems really broken. I went to the parameter settings screen and all it has is this 10.
Where's that damn
Settings screen display. Yeah, I'm not happy with this UI. It's very slow. I accidentally started it and I don't know how to stop it. There's no button saying how to stop it. That maybe is a pause button. Ah, I gotta shut it off. Gosh. There's just no instructions anywhere. Nobody talking about this printer. This seems buggy. After a friend helped me ask around on the Facebook page, I got some firmware updates, but they still didn't work. Still got the white screen, but I do realize that I can make all these options show up, and I know that there's supposed to be buttons right here. So technically I could put in the options that I need by doing this. Ugh. Without any of the other parts that were supposed to go with this, let's pour it in. Oh no! I don't think that's ideal.
Six and a half hours later.
Alright, this is the moment of truth. The print is right down here. I haven't looked because I want to get my reaction on video. I'm really worried about it not working. I don't see anything yet. Something's in there. And gosh, it's hard to tell because I don't know exactly what I'm looking at. I kind of feel like it worked. There it is. I don't know. I think it may have just worked. It's pretty exciting. Let's clean it off. I have no words to describe this print other than exceptional. That is truly the only word that comes to mind when I think about how good this print is. The detail is fantastic. It printed completely flat with no strange issues like this one. The detail on these little flaps that's so thin right here that it's pliable. I don't know if it'll get harder when curing. These little underhangs here, I don't even know if the camera can do it justice. These little dots, I have never seen a 3D print like this in my life. This is incredible. I am stoked about this. Well, this is pretty concerning. I haven't seen it move in the minute that I've been looking at it. It says the running time is about the amount of time since I did start this, but it's got a lot more layers to go. This is very slow, but I haven't seen this screen update. It may update only every time it's done with a layer, but I'm a little bit afraid it's frozen. And that was just the start of my problems. I tried to get on support to get an answer about why my printer was suddenly stopping, giving no feedback for hours and hours, and then eventually just needed to be reset and have a failed print on my hands. The only way to get in contact is through a Facebook group.
Where's that damn
Customer support. I don't have a Facebook, so I had to make a fake Facebook account. And then I had to request to join that group. It took like 3 days to get approved. And then when I did start asking questions, there was very little help. They were just like, did you update your firmware? Yep, I followed the instructions to update the firmware. Are you using the right version of the slicing software? No, because the only way that you can get the slicing software is through a specific beta that you have to get from a Google Doc sent by a single employee in the company. And there's even an uncensored version of the group because people have been apparently having their posts deleted. Now, I haven't had any of my posts deleted, but any of them that show that something's not working, and I posted a handful of things not working, I think are getting hidden from the page. They're no longer visible on the front page, but I can still go to them by looking at the notifications of people's comments and things. Ultimately, the problem with this one, where it was just stopping and giving no feedback as to why it was stopping, or if it was stopping at all, is that you're not supposed to use the SD card that came with it. The SD card with the test file on it. You'd think that if the company didn't intend for you to use this SD card, they wouldn't put the test file on it. I think after the fact they found out that the SD card reader wasn't working, it was causing these freezes, and then decided to gaslight their users by saying, oh no, you shouldn't be using the SD card that we sent, you need to use your own USB. The bolts that hold the tray to the arm that moves up and down, loosen up if you've got too much pressure on the FEP. If things are sticking too much, you get a lot of pressure that rotates the platform because these bolts are only holding on by friction. And so you get a bunch of lines in your print and it entirely fails if it goes long enough in a bad way. All these things together, the censorship of people asking genuine questions, not even flaming the product, just saying, hey, this doesn't work. My screen doesn't work on one of the settings screens. And they've basically given up. They sent it to the engineers. They said, oh, we can't reproduce it. And basically just stopped helping me. So I have to guess where the buttons are in order to set these numbers on the screen. It's ridiculous. It does good quality when you can get it to work, but there is very little support from the company. The community around it is so-so. It came all banged up too. One of the feet is completely bent. The bolts that you saw were bent. There's dents in certain places on it that match the dents that other people have. I don't understand how they could have so consistently screwed up the shipping such that multiple people have dents in the same areas and broken feet just like the one I do. But let's get back to work. This is the eMake 3D Galaxy 1 printer. This may be my first successful test with the printer. We're gonna find out. So this thing is unwieldy. It's a double-edged sword because it's great that it's so big, but it can be tough to get a handle on. And I believe that we have mostly a successful print. We've got an error there on the sword here. Yeah, it is my spatula scratching it. That's not great. Gotta be a little more careful. Alright, so let's take a look at what we printed on the Saturn to compare. You just have to hit it really hard. I don't want to blame anybody, but somebody was using my printer, and ever since they did, it's been a little sticky around the edges. I'm not the cleanest myself, but I am not the reason that I have to hit that. I just want to say that. We have a successful print of the same thing, but what's interesting is it's actually a bit of a different color. This is something I noticed between the two printers, is it's the exact same resin, but the printer, or the color seems to be different. I don't know if this will be picked up on camera, but these are the same pieces. Look at the difference in color. Same material. This one seems harder. It seems like this isn't quite as cured. It seems softer when I try to bend it. So that's very interesting. This is a higher quality print though. There's no way the camera's gonna pick this up, but I see more print lines on this than I do on here. So that's really cool. Got a little bit better quality out of this one. Alright, well I was hoping that today was the final print, but we're just not quite there yet. Almost there though. I'm gonna take a picture of this though and post it. This is cool. People are gonna be excited about it. They don't need to know that the feet are loose with this particular version until you see this video. But by then I'll have fixed it, so. Okay.
One eternity later.
Yeah, that took more than one more test print. Finally, I got everything fitting perfectly, and it was time to start going into real production with this thing. I used Army Painter brand gray spray paint to primer these.
There's a little caterpillar crawling on it. I think that's a lucky sort.
Then I stuck a bunch of skewers into some packing foam, and this let me put every shoe and hand and other piece suspended in the air so I could spray paint them more easily. I tried this Rust-Oleum metal, but it was just way too sparkly. So I opted to just paint them with my normal silver color anyway. For the brighter silver, I used this marker. It's kind of a mix between paint and a Sharpie, and it works really well.
Is this correct? Good? Thank you.
Then I used a mix of red and silver for these red parts of the helmet and the feet. Then as usual, I used a wash to get all these little dark details in all the crevices. You spread the wash across the entire surface and then you wipe the outer parts of it away with a paper towel. For anybody familiar with 3D modeling, this is kind of like an ambient occlusion pass. You can see it adds all kinds of this dirt and grime and shadows to all the details. Then I added a little bit of silver on those little rivets on the feet. And I went in with some very, very light dry brushing of a bright silver to bring out all the highlights of these details. I'm really happy with how the dry brushing came out. The dry brushing shows really well on these cylinders on the feet too. And then just a tiny little dot of red for the jewel on the swords. Then I sealed it all with just a simple spray matte sealant. And then so everybody could know when it was going live, I held a little launch party playing Sonic Adventure 2. Publishing Lancelot. Alright, everything should be live on my page. And in just about 10 minutes of playing the game, I started getting messages of people saying they were bummed out because they couldn't buy what they wanted. I'm really surprised if we sold out that quickly. Whoa, yeah, we got 12 orders. 12 orders in 10 minutes or something? How long have we been doing this? So we've got the long weekend, so I can put just a couple more together. I'm still painting some of the full kits right now. Oh yeah, we've sold out of the painted kit forward and painted kit reverse. Wow. And the complete, whoa! We sold out of all 4, hey Bailey, and Mom. We sold out of all 4 complete sets and all 10 painted kits. I don't know how many I put. I think I put 5 and 5. I guess I'm gonna have a busy weekend. Let's add more stock. I mean, I got the 3-day weekend. I'm gonna add. I don't want to overdo it. I'm just gonna add 2 stock of each one. This is a lot of parts, so I have enlisted the help of wife. Say hi.
Hello.
I said say hi.
Hello.
See what I'm dealing with? No, not start over. I did my parts perfect. Lee. You might recognize her from other videos. I'm just not feeling witty today. Like, what am I saying?
You don't have to always be witty, you know.
Or maybe I'm just stalling for time so that you do all the work.
Hey.
It's a lot of work to do. We got a couple sets still in there. She's doing a good job. Say in the chat if you think she does a better job at removing things from the supports than me. And maybe you'd just rather see her do that in the videos instead of me. And then we could just have her do all the processing and I don't have to get messy.
Oh, I'm not that good at it.
Oh no, you're great. Everybody in the chat tell her she's great. Let's go find Kat. Oh, there she is. She's trying to get up into her secret hiding spot where I've stuck her shoes so she can't get in. Yeah, it's so sad. You can't get up there. There's a shoe in the way. Yeah. Puppy's always a good helper cat when we're working on things.
Safety bed thing. Would you like to use their dwarf once, or should I use first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bye, kitty.
I wasn't even putting it on her head that made her leave. It's me trying to catch it.
Yeah. We got a little secret for Poppy that she doesn't know about yet. I'm gonna go get it. You nervous? You can sense we're gonna do something fun, huh? She's not gonna be happy about this. I feel so bad for her. This is so mean. What? It's not a bad thing, it's a fun thing. You could go to the Renaissance Fair with us. Oh, that's so nice.
Oh.
How beautiful you are.
She's so mad.
You mad? Can we put the visor down? Just a little bit. Oh, there we go. Now you're ready for battle. Okay. Thank you for your cooperation. It's the day before we plan to ship. Still got a lot of painting to do, and we keep miscounting how many we need.
Mm-hmm. Very confusing.
So for one reason or another, I added way too many full kits, so I had to order a bunch of shadows to be able to supply those. And here are the first 10 full kits to go out. I have a legitimate Shadow Lancelot army. At least until I had to send them out. We'll get them some postcards too. Yeah, all packed up. All packed up. Look at Kitty helping. What a good helper cat. You helping? I think you're doing a great job. It's packing day. And by packing day, I mean wife does it while I pretend to work. We're on our way to the post office now to drop off the packages, and then we'll be on our way to everybody who bought. Thank you to everybody who bought, and I hope you enjoy the product. Very exciting! And check out these photos from customers. Go Dreamer actually made me realize that the handle of the sword is supposed to be white, and I didn't realize it. Hoovaloo is always buying my stuff, including my wisps, and does a great paint job on those, and also posts fun memes. Flamey Bagel with some great poses. I love the setup here with Shadow with the gun. It's Sean. I love this pose with Caliburn, it's awesome. Jokerson with a great paint job. And some good poses. Suspicious Author, who actually built elbow joints into their figures so you can get really dynamic poses holding the sword. YBZ, who always does a great paint job, and here's another shot with Caliburn. I love seeing that. Kai Customs did a great paint job, and I love this environment that they have. I'd love to see more of their setup. I should check out their Instagram. Blue Speed, another shot with Caliburn. Again, very awesome. And Tommy G ACBA, a really great customizer. You should check out their Instagram at Tommy G ACBA. I love that Tron looking Sonic, and of course I gotta give some love to my girl Whisper. So thanks to all the stream viewers for watching. We've got YBZ, Highwell Plays, Freddy and Friends 2014, Pro Tyler, Sir Dork, Sparkle Wolf, Juju Player, Vejado Renders, Votable Globe, JL and CC, Pink GameCube, Swiggy, Reggie J Jr., Average Alien Who Cosplays, Almir Chan, Matt the Amazing, The Bonwan, Hoovaloo, Taylor Create, Olsen, Axtro, Tapitha Carr, Go Dreamer, X-Man 13 Knight, RGX, Jokerson, Cage, Blue Speed, Sonic King, Silver 4G, Daniel, 2002 Undercover, and Vic Miggs. Thanks a lot for watching.